everyone, Lynn Hero here, one half of the Esty Sisters duo. Rachel and I are authorized reps and educators for AO Medical, and today I'm going to be doing a demonstration of a new treatment that we have come up with. We're combining radio frequency with the Magpolar device along with our glass facial, utilizing our O2 Derm machine. So we're really excited to bring this combination to you. We love to bring the treatments that we're bringing to our own clients and getting great results with. So for today, we're going to start with the radio frequency portion. So I'm going to be cleansing my model's face. My favorite cleanser right now is the Moisture Gel Cleanser by Dr. Esty. I love this cleanser because it starts as a gel and then it converts to a nice foam. So I'm going to just add to my hands. Some people like to apply with a brush. I like to just mix it up in my hands, create a nice lather. As you can see, it's a really nice decadent lather. And then gently apply to the client's face, model's face. This cleanser has 5 probiotics and 5 ceramides. Great for all skin types. The only other skin type that I would probably use or choose a different cleanser would be if I was going to be working on an oily acne prone person. I may use the Dr. Esty AC Control Mousse that has some salicylic acid and tea tree as well. But otherwise, this would still work fine for somebody that has oily acne skin if you were using it with a facial. If a client comes in and they have a lot of makeup on, you may choose to do a double cleanse. And if a male is the client you're working on and they're going to be shaving, ask the client to shave the day before, just so there's less irritation when you're going to be doing the radio frequency treatment. Okay, I'm going to remove with a warm towel. You can use sponges, you can use gauze, 4x4s, whatever you prefer. Shake this out a little so it's not too warm. I always test on my forearm. This is probably one of the client's favorite parts of the facial, is using the warm towels. Okay, if you'd like to spritz with a toner, you can. Totally up to you. You can use the HOP Stem Cell Mist, just that's very light, add some hydration, or you can use the Skin Laser Toner by Dr. Esty as well. Right now, I'm just gonna move on to the second step, which is going to be adding the radio frequency cream. So with the high frequency Magpolar device, we're gonna be using the Duamore high frequency cream. This is a cream that's made for high frequency machines. It does convert down to an oil, so you're gonna need a lot of slip. So this will be used on the face. It's also the same cream that's used on the body. The only difference with using your Magpolar device on the face or body is on the body, you're gonna be using a PCP cream first and then the radio frequency cream, but for the face, it's simply radio frequency cream. I like to use my fingers. Again, if you guys want to go ahead and apply with a brush, you can. So you want to apply liberally all over the face. I will be working on the neck area as well. So the Magpolar, for those of you who are new to this radio frequency device, it's a newer type of technology that uses an RET technology versus a CET technology. So the old type of radio frequency would actually create a lot of heat on the surface of the skin, which could cause some trauma to the skin. And this particular technology creates the heat deeper into the skin, down into the dermis layer, and it allows the heat to kind of radiate out, and it's going to create a tightening of pores, a lifting. Also, if somebody did have some discomfort due to some jaw aches, things like that, radio frequency is really supportive for helping with people dealing with some pain issues as well. But we're going to be looking at tightening, and then working at tightening like under the jaw area. We did do some great before pictures. You definitely want to take some before and after pictures when you're doing all your treatments. For this particular treatment, because I wanted to see a lift in a contouring of the jaw area, we did do side profile before photos as well as a front photo. So just to keep that in mind. You also want to make sure you're taking your photos while your client, your model, is standing up or sitting up, so that you can see the full effect of the lift. As when the face is laying flat, when the client's laying flat, the face kind of falls back and you can't really see the full effect of of what's going on in terms of before and after a treatment. Okay, so she's got quite a bit of product on the skin right now. You may need to add a little bit more, but usually the cream breaks down to an oil, so that oil still stays on top of the skin, and there's no problem with usually needing to add more product. So the MAG Polar, I'm going to start with turning on the machine in the back. Mode 2 is actually the small probe, which is the probe we're going to be using for the face. If somebody was looking at having some fat removal, like they had extra thickness in the jaw area, the neck, and the cheeks, you could also look at using the first probe, which is the larger body probe. But for purposes of treatment with my model here, we're going to be working on tightening and lifting, so we're going to be using the small probe. So make sure you're pushed to mode 2 for the second probe, and then you're going to push start. It automatically is going to start and set to 21 minutes, which is a normal treatment time, standard treatment time. And we're going to take it up to level 9. This is the maximum level. When you're working with a higher level, it's ideal to, you're going to start just to warm the device up. But when it starts to get too hot, you then have to either lower the level or move a little bit more quickly. But ideally, you want the heat to be felt, tolerable enough, because that's what's going to do the magic. It's all in the heat. So we're going to start with the neck area, and you also want to make sure that all 4 little metal probes are flush to the skin at all times to prevent any. And you're going to also check in with the client and make sure that they're not feeling too much discomfort. They're not too much, but they will feel heat, but not discomfort. So can you feel this heating up? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you also want to let your clients know everybody has different tolerances in terms of level of heat. So if it starts to get too warm, please let me know if it feels like it's too warm. So you want to start to go a little bit slower. But again, if you can keep it on a higher level, that's great. If you need to lower the level and then move even slower, that's great. Higher levels sometimes require you to move a little bit more quickly. So I'm doing maybe 3-4 patches in an area. Then I'm going to start to kind of contour in. Can you feel the warmth? Mm-hmm. Feel tolerable? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I like to do one side of the face first. So if we're at 21 minutes, I like to do about 10 minutes on one side of the face, 10 minutes on the other, and then I'll use the other minute to kind of just go over an area that may need a little extra attention. Okay, so I'm kind of going in there. Now I'm going to start to work my way up and start to sculpt and lift. And again, I'm going a little bit more quickly because I'm on level 9. If I was working with like a level 6, 7, 8, I might be going a little bit more slowly. Can you feel it warm? Mm-hmm. How warm would you say on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being really, really warm.
7.
A 7? Okay. So I probably could go a little bit slower, but not too much slower. So with the glass facial, you can actually probably combine a variety of modalities. You could be doing microcurrent, you could be doing the TimeMaster Pro with ultrasound, you can do your Tonisher with the needle-free plasma for tightening as well, and you can be doing the Raysure if you needed some tightening and slimming of the face too. So you can work with the modalities you have. I'm just loving my new MAG Polar device and started playing around with the radio frequency with the face and wanted to combine the 2 facials, and have been getting some really good results. So wanted to share that with you all. Still level 7? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm holding the skin a little taut here. And then you always, like I said, want to make sure that all 4 of those probes are flush to the skin at all times. Okay, so after we've done downward movement on the neck, also to kind of move lymph, we then start curving our way in and up because this is going to be all about lifting and tightening. So I do about 4 patches or passes in one area, and then I move up slightly. So the probe area is actually very small. The reason I'm lifting up is because I'm trying to encourage upward lift and upward movement. And then we're going to finish with one side of the face at about the 10-minute mark, and then we're going to move over to the other side of the face. There may be some areas of the face that are a little bit more sensitive, so you want to definitely know if your client is experiencing more heat in one area, just to let you know. And sometimes you will see a little pinkening of the skin. That's okay. That's just because we're generating some heat below the surface. You also want to make sure that the probe you're giving a firm pressure, so just to prevent the lifting up of the, and then when we're here, I do tend to go up and down the nasolabial fold here, kind of back and forth just in this area. Work on the chin area here. And this one I'm kind of going back and forth. I'm working on a little bit of the puckering. There's a little bit of some scarring here in the chin area, so I'm kind of working over this area. This particular device, the Magpolar, does great with like cellulite on the body and scarring, so a little bit of pock marks, things like that. Again, you can kind of work in a circular pattern and work over those areas, and you will see a nice evening out of the skin texture. Still a 7? Or did it warm up a little more?
Warmed up.
Warmed up a little? Okay, so you notice that I went a little more slowly, so it definitely warmed up for her, so she's probably at an 8.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it's tolerable, if the client feels like it's too hot, then you either speed up or you lower the temperature.
Mm-hmm.
And lowering the temperature is lowering the level. So I'm actually lifting slightly, you just can't see that, but I'm lifting slightly around the orbital area, so I'm not just gliding it back, I'm lifting slowly up. You want to definitely get those crow's feet, so going up the temple side. So this works really great for the fine lines and wrinkles. Reducing, minimizing pore sizes as well. So for the forehead, I'm going to be working my way up, and then I'm going to work my way sideways as well. Kind of a crosshatch pattern. How was the heat on the forehead?
Like low 9.
Okay, so now I'm going to move it up a little bit, just because she's feeling more intensity in terms of the heat on the forehead. And I can also see she's getting a little extra pink or a little extra erythema here on the forehead. So we're just going to speed up our process a little bit here. There's thinner skin on the forehead, so the client would sense the heat a little bit more in this area. Again, you want to make sure you're pushing hard enough that all 4 of those prongs are touching the skin at the same time. work a little bit in her 11 line here, center line. Gonna add just a little bit more cream. A little slower. I found that when I was working on my 11 lines with the radio frequency, I was noticing a major change, even just after a couple sessions, which was wonderful. So again, for somebody that's dealing with a lot of lines where they would normally get Botox, this is gonna be a really awesome treatment. If you are using it on somebody that's had Botox, you just wanna make sure you do it a good 2 weeks plus after they've had Botox or fillers. Okay, we've now hit our 11-minute mark, so I'm now going to be working on the other side of the face, starting with the neck and working my way up. Okay, then we're going to continue on the second side, the other side of the face. Again, we're working in downward strokes. I'm doing about 4 levels. You're going to avoid the thyroid area and the carotid artery, otherwise you should be good. Again, with working with radio frequency, you just want to make sure you're operating within the scope of practice for your state. This is a device that is really pretty non-invasive, but you still want to check with your state. And then also if you need additional insurance, companies like ASCP do offer that. So you just want to make sure before you start any new modality. So I'm gently lifting up again, just making sure all 4 prongs are touching the skin at the same time. And I'm creating a lifting motion, lifting and sculpting motion. That's the intention of my radiofrequency for this treatment. Also to work on some scarring and to even up texture. So we're gonna now finish up the face the same way we did the right side of the face for the next 10 minutes. And then we will start our glass facial portion. On the level 1 to 10, a scale 1 to 10, where are you at heat-wise?
5.
Okay, so we're gonna go a little bit slower. So if you really want the client to be, I would say probably a minimum 7, but probably in the 7-8 range. So not at a 10 where they're feeling total discomfort, but you definitely want them to feel it. All right, is it warming up a little?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
6. It's a good 7 if you stay slow.
Okay. She said a good 7.
If you stay slow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an 8 over there.
Okay, an 8 on the upper lip, so we're gonna move a little bit faster on the upper lip here.
Mm-hmm. It went down.
Okay, go a little slower. When you get to the cheek area, it's gonna feel less sensitive, so you definitely can go slower on the cheek area. Typically, you think of radiofrequency for the face using a microneedling with radiofrequency, but it's going to be more invasive. It's going to have some downtime. So this doesn't really have any downtime, which is really nice. So you can do treatments, a couple times a week. Usually a series for the face is going to be 3 to 5 sessions. And we're looking at about, the 21, 22 minutes total for the face. Again, about 10 minutes each side of the face. Again, you're applying moderate pressure. Keep the probes down. Again, crosshatch pattern on the forehead. We're starting with our lifting up and down, and then we're going to go sideways. We still have a lot of slip here, so even though you can't see the cream, it breaks down to an oil, so it's still plenty of gel here, conduction material to work with. What level are you at now?
6.
Okay, and eventually you'll kind of get the feel. Again, everybody's different level of sensitivity, so probably eventually you get the level or the idea of your speed. I'm going to work again a little bit more up in this area. So you never want to hold it still, but again, you can go slowly. Just don't hold it still in one place.
Yeah, it's like an 8 if you hold it slow.
Yep, if you hold it, go too slowly, it ramps right up to an 8. But that's what's causing and triggering the new collagen to be produced as well. So you definitely want to have a fair amount of heat produced. But again, the other great thing about, like I said, the RET technology is it's not damaging the surface of the skin like the traditional CET methods. I'm going to do circular motion just around these deep lines.
It's horrible, man. It's okay.
So as long as you're in communication with your client, let the client know to talk to you, to keep in communication with you. Sometimes I think clients are afraid to speak up, so give them permission to let you know where they're at and how they're doing. Because again, you want this to be an effective treatment, but also a comfortable treatment for the client.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be working a little bit more right over the crow's feet area here. I'm going to go back and work a little bit more on the chin area where we've got some deeper scarring here. This would also be a nice treatment with the needle-free filler facial as well, because again, this is helping to stimulate collagen and tighten the skin. So you have a lot of room and a lot of flexibility to mix modalities and mix treatments. You always want to know what is your intention, right, with your treatments. So if you were trying to use the needle-free filler facial to help not only create volume, create collagen and plump in scarring and fill in scarring, using something like a radio frequency is going to also help to work with scarring. So those would be a nice fit together. I wouldn't go right under the eye area. This can create a lot of heat, but I am definitely at the orbital bone here. So you can definitely stretch the skin down a little bit and just work right here. And then right here. And the same with the other eye. I could show you here. Holes. So the two top probes are kind of coming just above the orbital base, but not right under the eye. The skin is so thin there, so you want to be really careful. That would be probably pretty uncomfortable for the client.
Hot.
So hot. So
Towards the nose.
yep. So thinner skin, it's going to feel more sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got 1 minute left, so I'm just kind of targeting areas that require a little bit more attention. Again, the deeper lines on the forehead, between the brows. Okay, now that we've completed this, you definitely want to remove the radiofrequency cream prior to continuing on with their facial, because it is a pretty heavier cream, and we want to then have a clean palette or clean slate for our next product. So I'm going to take a warm towel and we're going to move into our light exfoliation stage. I always love to do my modality work, most of my modality work, prior to doing exfoliation, only because the modalities can be intense and we're creating heat, so you wouldn't want to do that on top of a post-peeled or a post-exfoliated skin. So This way we know, like if the skin is really sensitive when we're putting on our exfoliant, we'll just keep it on, you know, a shorter period of time. But that's my preference. Unless you're gonna be using something like galvanic or a little bit of microcurrent later. But something like this with radio frequency is generating a lot of heat. So again, having that be done prior is my recommendation.
That's nice.
So making sure we've gotten this cream all removed and prepped. So you wanna make sure you got the nose area. And you can see the skin's a little pinky. I'm gonna show you. It will calm down, but I'm just gonna show you. Cheeks, upper lip, chin. We did do a lot of work in certain areas. So you can see that's a little pinker. But by the end of our glass facial, she's gonna look really dewy, really glowy. So there we go. So the next step in our facial is we're gonna start the glass facial portion. Okay, next we're gonna apply our Dr. Esty Skin Refining Goat Milk Peel. You can get them in the peel itself for back bar is usually in a 150 ml bottle where you can get about 50 applications, which is really great. I'm gonna be using a little retail size right now, which I can get about two servings or 2 applications out of. So I'm gonna start with application on the forehead. I'm gonna work my way down. Doing a complete application of the Dr. Esty Goat Milk Peel. We're gonna leave this on for 1 to 2 minutes. If somebody has more sensitive skin, which may occur after the radiofrequency treatment, the skin may be a little bit more sensitive, up to 2-3 minutes, I would say maximum. And then you're gonna neutralize it with warm water. You can either use sponges or you can use some gauze. I like to just use a little warm towel. And usually by the time you've gotten to the full face application down the neck, we're almost ready to remove. And then I start with the forehead with my removable process. Okay, we're just gonna watch the skin. Again, she was already a little bit of pink in the cheeks area and the chin and the forehead just because of the radiofrequency treatment. So we're just gonna watch, leave it on for another minute, and then we're gonna remove. The goat milk peel is awesome. It has 18.5% total acids in it. It's got a combination of 4 alpha hydroxy, a little bit of beta hydroxy, and 3 polyhydroxy acids in it. So it's a wonderful combination for all skin types, very hydrating, very soothing, but very effective even just for a couple minutes on the skin. So I'm gonna start the removal process. So after we've shaken out our towel, it's kind of a little more than lukewarm. Just gonna press this in. So water neutralizes this peel. Again, it's a very light peel. And just be thorough in your removal. Make sure you get the creases of the nose, around the eye area. Okay, next we're gonna start with the first part of our process, which is going to prep us for using the O2 Derm oxygen treatment. And that uses up to 92% pure oxygen that's generated with the device, as well as some anion therapy, which is really great for producing positive experience for the client. So it's really good. It's kind of like vitamins for the skin, very healing, something that you would experience kind of in the North Woods. So really clean air. It's going to be an immune boost. It's also going to help with collagen stimulation. It's going to help with detoxifying. It's going to help with just really giving this gentle kiss of nourishment and moisture to the skin. So we're going to start with our application of the O2 Derm Whipping Balm Mask. This is a decadent, detoxifying, they call it kind of exfoliant, but it's not a traditional exfoliant. So it will cause, through the oxygenation process, it's going to definitely kind of detox the pores. You will notice that some of the blackheads will start to loosen up and come out, but it's not a traditional one using acids or enzymes. But it still is a gentle exfoliant and also just very detoxifying and hydrating as well. So you're gonna take a little dish and you're gonna pump 2 pumps into the dish for the full face. We're then gonna add equal amount of water. So I would say a good tablespoon or so, a little bit more. So just to give about an equal amount of the mask to water, and then you're gonna start the whipping process. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to whip. It takes about 30 seconds, and you just continue to froth, and it creates this decadent marshmallow-like mask. Okay, and then you're gonna start to layer on the skin. It's just this beautiful So you're going to avoid the eye area, but you're going to work below the orbital bone. It's going to feel really cooling to the client. Just to use it all up. This is also really great for a hand treatment. You can use it on the décolleté as well. And this particular mask can also be sold for a retail product as well. So for my oily acne clients, I love to send this home with them to use once a week as an at-home treatment, just for extra purifying. And now we're going to be applying the oxygen dome. So we are going to show you what this looks like. This is what our O2 Derm machine looks like. This is going to be generating 92% oxygen. So we have different options. We're going to turn this on right now. And you can go by minutes, you can go by hours. We're going to be working by minutes. I like to keep the client under for 15 to 20 minutes. For this facial, we're going to do 15 minutes. I also want to then, first off, you're going to push, once you pushed on the lower part, which is talks about how much time is accumulating. We're at the minute mark. So I'm going to go in 5-minute increments, 5, 10, 15. And then what I'd like to also do is you want to keep it on level 1. This is going to generate the most amount of oxygen, up to 92%. Right now it's starting at 90, but it will work its way up. And if you had somebody that was more sensitized skin, you might want to do it on level 2, where you're going to have about 62% of pure oxygen. So it's just a little bit easier for the skin if it's more compromised. So we're going with 92% with the level 1. When you use the gun, so later in this facial, we're going to use the gun, we're going to be working on higher levels, about a level 4, but for purposes of the dome, we're going to keep it on 1. Next, we're going to be using the anion as well. That's where it produces all that negative ions. It would be similar to using salt lamps or salt lamp rooms that generate negative ions that create a lot of positive energy, positive mood, but really is good for healthy skin. And again, just kind of like all natural vitamins for the skin. So we're now going to put the dome on the skin here, the face. We're going to set this here so it's going to create almost a little seal, and then we are ready to go. The client won't be feeling much of anything. There's a little bit of air coming through the top. So on level 1, it's not meant to feel a lot of air, but they will experience a slight amount of air, but it's going to generate this beautiful decadent oxygen for them to inhale. The clients will be very relaxed and very refreshed at the end of this treatment. So this is the first time of 2 that we're going to be using the dome during the oxygen facial or the glass facial. Okay, now we've completed the first part of the oxygen dome treatment. We're going to gently remove the dome. And then the O2 Derm has this awesome little hanging area where you can simply put the O2 Derm dome on top. So, really great. We're now going to take some of the mask that's left on top, just to remove this easily before we use our warm towel. So you're going to just take off some of the excess. So you can see that it's still really frothy, just really such a decadent mask. And just to let you know, I use this mask in a lot of my facials. So my acne, my teen facials, even if I'm not using the O2 Derm Dome, I'm definitely going to look at using my Whipping Balm mask because it's just such a great universal mask to use. So it's not only for the glass facial. So you just gently, I'm just using, you can either use a little spatula or I'm just using a silicone brush here. And just again, just removing some of the excess before I use a warm towel. Skin's gonna be so much more hydrated, much clearer looking. It does a great job. Again, if you even noticed a little bit of blackheads, it's gonna notice a lot less congestion in the skin. So it does a really great job of pulling up a lot of the impurities. You can always see, also see some of the pink that's kind of going down, so that's great. And by the end of this treatment, her skin's gonna look great, very uniform color. Now for the rest of the facial, the rest of the products are going to be left on the skin. So we are going to now switch over to using our gun portion of the O2 Derm machine, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, now we're going to switch over to our oxygen ampule. So that was inserted into the bottom of the gun like this, and then we're going to remove the tube from the dome, and then we're going to attach it to our oxygen gun. Next, we're going to take our machine, we're going to turn it on, and we're going to go to a level in terms of flow to a level 4. And then to make sure that you're going to feel a spray, this is with the oxygen coming out, and to make sure that you get enough of the release of the ampule, you want to definitely unscrew this little end here a little bit, and we're going to hold it kind of at a 45-degree angle. I like to make sure that I'm not going to spray into the eyes, so I kind of set up a little barrier with my hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently start to squeeze, and we are going to apply the ampule. So we're going to squeeze, and as you can see, the ampule is coming out, so it's all liquefied. And then after I do that, I gently massage it in a little bit. And again, I'm kind of, as I'm moving closer to the eye area, you want to make sure that you're protecting the eyes so you're not going right into the eye area. And so one ampule is going to give you about 3 treatments. And as I get down toward the eye here, I still, again, protecting from the eye area. So with my hand, and I'm definitely working this in under the eye, but I'm just not using the spray gun right underneath the eye. It's going to feel really cool to the client. And then after a little bit, I just massage it in. Protecting the eye area with my finger, and then massaging it in. Looking with the nose, gently massaging. Go all the way down the neck. You can also use this on the décolleté area as well. So if you want to do the glass facial on the décolleté, I would definitely do that as an add-on, but you most certainly can. Starting with the goat milk peel and with the Whipping Mom mask, you can definitely work your way down that area. Okay, so once you feel like enough of the ampule has been applied, her skin is just really absorbing this in quite nicely. And it's got nice antioxidants in here. It's just a really great hydrating ampule. Okay, and one more time just around the eye area. So we've completed the application of the ampule. I'm going to now turn the device off. I'm going to apply the O2 Derm Oxygen Moisture Energy Cream. I love this cream, even just for a moisturizer, but you're going to apply a good nickel size amount. You can use a brush. Again, I like to use my hands because I like to do a little bit of massage technique in here, so I apply a little all over the face, a little to the cheek, chin, neck, and then I start to massage it in. Make sure you're getting the eye area here. I'm just going to add just a teeny bit more, maybe like a dime size more, just to make it extra luxurious, because then we are going to put the O2 Derm dome back on the face for another 15 to 20 minutes. And this treatment, the products that we're putting on right now, the ampule and the energy cream, will be left on the skin. And I ask the clients not to wash until the next day, just so all the goodies can remain on the skin overnight and get you most penetration and most benefit. Okay, next we're going to turn the machine off, and we are going to swap off the gun, and we're going to attach this back to the dome. So I will show you how to do that. Put this on, and it just snaps back on like that. And then we're going to bring it closer so that it's very enclosed. And you want the ends here to be flush to the bed, to the table, so that it doesn't pop up and you get a good seal. And next we're going to turn the machine back on. And then we're going to do the same protocol. We're going to push it down to the minute section, so where it says time accumulated. I'm now going to time, and I'm going to push 5, 10, 15, and then I'm going to turn the anions as well. We're going to keep it on level 1 so that we're at 90%. It will go up to 92% oxygen, and then we're good to go for 15 minutes. If you want to at this time, you can do a hand and arm massage for your client, you could do a foot massage, or you could just let the client relax with the nice relaxing music and the oxygen. It is very relaxing for the client. A lot of times they fall asleep and they wake up feeling really refreshed. Okay, now that we're complete with the oxygen treatment, the second one, we're gonna remove the dome, put it back on our little stand here. And the skin looks amazing, glassy, glossy, dewy, refreshed. We are now going to leave this on. We're going to simply add a little bit of the HOP lip and eye treatment. This is repair cream. I love this eye cream in particular because it has the polylactic acid. It has the growth factors, the leuphilin that helps to replenish the adipose tissue and fill in those hollows underneath the eye, and then also does a great job of plumping the lips. So this is a really nice end of treatment lip serum. And then or after you take your photos, you're going to be applying the all mineral HOP sunscreen, but we're going to take our photo first and then apply. Remember that if you put too much on, that's where you're going to get kind of that whiter appearance. It is great for Fitzpatrick's 1 through 5. You just remember to apply a little bit, goes a long way, rub it in, and you're going to have very dewy skin. And then the client is going to not wash their skin until the next day. There you go. That is the radio frequency plus glass facial. And if anybody has questions on this particular protocol or any of the other protocols, feel free to reach out to Rachel and myself at the SD Sisters on Instagram or comment below, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. And be sure to subscribe to our channel so you keep up to date with all the latest and greatest products and protocols.